Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and it's time to welcome you back on Modern and Modest with myself as your host, Noshina Ghani. Each week we bring you interesting personalities and organizations from here in Durban, and it amazes me every week with each and every new guest that we interview. For today we have two powerful guests that would love to give back to the community, so keep watching and you'll find out just who they are. I'm absolutely delighted to be speaking to Melissa Samuels from the Samuel Caesar Foundation. It indeed makes me proud to be a Durbanite, and thank you so much, Melissa, for taking the time out to chat to us, and welcome to our show, Modern and Modest.
Thank you so much. You're more than welcome.
All right, so Melissa, recently the Samuel Service Center has taken out this initiative to start out with the Samuel Caesar Foundation. Can you tell us more about this foundation? How did it all come about? And just before we get there, what does Caesar actually mean?
So Caesar is to help, means to help in Zulu. And what we did is that we approached the homeless situation in Durban, specifically the beggars. So that's what we were targeting through our foundation. And how it came about is my brother went to Mexico. My brother is the operations manager of Samuel Service Center. And in Mexico, he saw a whole lot of beggars, and they were kind of washing the windows. They had advertising on them, but they weren't doing it for money. So all the motorists kind of knew, no, you don't give the beggars money, but this is what they do. And then he came back and he told us, and we were just like blown away by the whole idea, because we also have, as a family, a pet hate with the litter in Durban. So we thought, let's kind of hit two birds with one stone and kind of develop this initiative into what it is now.
Okay, and how long has this been running for now?
It started on the 1st of February, and it's hopefully we're trying to make it as sustainable as possible, so we're hoping that it'll never stop.
Well, I doubt it would ever stop. I mean, the idea is fantastic. Durban feels cleaner already. And how many people do you have on this platform?
So our target for the end of February was to reach 80, and now mid-March we've already got 85.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, so Melissa, just going back to the whole, this entire thing is based on the principle of, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it correctly, but is it Mudita or
Mudita?
Mudita. I mean, it's a very foreign word to most of us, to myself as well.
Yeah.
But tell us more about this.
So Mudita is a Sanskrit principle. It's from Buddhism. We were reading a book called The Book of Joy, and the Dalai Lama referred to this Mudita. And Mudita means finding joy in the good fortune of others. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to encourage people to find joy and be happy when someone else is happy. So when your child graduates, your whole family celebrates with you. When someone gets their big break at a concert and they're a musician, the whole stadium kind of celebrates with them. So we just want that kind of feel, vibe, and happiness for the destitute individual, that they're getting the help that they need and they want. So that's what we're trying to base our Caesar Foundation off of. That principle.
So the idea started out with your brother bringing it through from Mexico.
Yes.
And you were indeed very excited about it. But take us through the steps. I mean, how did you take this forward to people out on the road? How have they received this? How did it all begin for you?
So obviously it started with couple cars going out to kind of find the beggars on the streets, and you'll be surprised at how much you know them. Like our head office based in Conubia, and we were like, yeah, Raj is right there. Everyone even knew his name was Raj. Like, it was Raj, there was Daniel and Argyle. Like, you know where the guys stand. They're pretty territorial. And then we drove around, we got out our car, we shook their hand, and we had a conversation with them, and we were like, this is what we want to do, this is how we want to try help you, are you interested or not? And then from there the word spread and message grew, and this is how we got to our 85.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you initially started going out scouting for them because you had to find them to bring them onto the initiative.
Yes.
And what is it now? Just 6 weeks? Do you find that they are starting to approach you as the word's been going around?
Yes, they are. Like, every day I get like 4 guys coming to me and saying, please, can I be part of this program? This is what I used to do before. This is the situation that I'm in. So it's the word spread without me even.
Well, that just tells us how hungry these people are for employment, because this is actually giving them some type of dignity, providing them with a kind of job where they feel like they're earning a salary rather than having to go out and beg for money. So Melissa, in terms of remuneration, it must have been great for them to know that they don't have to go out and beg, and there was someone actually paying them to do a job. So having started out and now reached 85, what type of pay do you give them? Does it work on a per day or a per week salary?
Okay, so initially we started off the initiative where we told them that we're going to give you 100 Rand per day, and when you're wearing our red t-shirts, which was to create awareness for what we're doing around their lives, we said every post that someone posts about you on social media, I'll give you 1 Rand extra commission. So that kind of incentivized them to work a little bit harder. And as it went on, we said, okay, every week we're going to give the person that gets the most posts, the top 3 people that get the most posts, a little bit more of an incentive. And because they're so far apart, they didn't really know that that was happening. But like, certain people were in groups. So when I gave the guys at the Shell Garage, for example, there in Windermere Road, it was like, okay, Njabulo, you're the guy of the week this week, and everyone was like, oh, you got it. So it kind of encouraged them and incentivized them to work a little bit harder, which was nice.
So how was it for you now? You know, I know you come from a marketing background, but now having to watch the stats on social media, what was that like? What was it like for you?
It really made me proud. The response from the public was phenomenal. Our reach was far beyond Durban, so we got about 20,000 hashtags with our post. But we estimated our reach to be about 10 million, because what was happening was people in Cape Town, in Joburg, as far as New Zealand and Australia, like some of our stats are even stretching international, which was crazy. And then a lot of radio stations took it upon themselves to tell our story. So 702 Radio in Joburg, Bongani show, he spoke about what was going viral in the city. And Kingfisher FM in Pretoria, Port Elizabeth also, they also started talking about us. So it really makes
amazing. Us proud as being Durbanites, and thanks to that initiative that you've come up with. But with everything going on, how have you found this has aided with the situation with homelessness or any other issues? What was the impact of what you've started doing?
So I think the impact has been twofold. In terms of the beggars' lives, it's helped restore their dignity, empower them a little bit. Also help them with their self-worth, their mentality of themselves. So now, as opposed to I have to be sad because that's how I get money, now it's I can actually be happy, and people are appreciating that I'm cleaning the intersections, I'm doing my little bit in society. And then in terms of the public side, I think the public also really appreciate the fact that these guys are now working, they're not just loitering around the intersections, as well as keeping our intersections cleaner and safer.
So the initial project started out on the 1st of February. So from the 1st to date, it was more about brand awareness and getting the public to know this is what's going on in Durban.
Yes.
Do you think you've satisfied with where you're at right now, or do you think you still need to create more awareness?
No, I think our awareness is definitely created. A lot of people recognize who the biggest faces are, how they're willing to help. I think awareness for sure has happened.
Well, coming back to how people react in situations like this. I mean, we've had fantastic feedback from the beggars now, where they've reached some form of dignity, they're earning money, and they're happy individuals. But how has the public responded with your initiative?
So the majority of the public response has been overwhelmingly positive, and I'm so grateful for that, thank you. But obviously there are some skeptics. I think that in terms of communication on our part, it wasn't fully communicated to the public, our intentions. So a lot of people did kind of lash back at us, saying that what we're doing is illegal, to encourage pictures in cars at intersections, and like a whole lot of just negative comments. And I feel like it made us stronger in terms of what we aimed to do, and it was we reaching a certain objective with these guys and restoring their dignity and empowering them. So it kind of just drove us to do it even better. Yeah. Stronger, yeah.
Okay. Look, with any initiative that you would come up with, I guess you'd get the positive and you'd get the negative. And as time goes around, with the change that you've made in these individuals' lives and the fact that you've already reached 85 and growing, do you think these skeptics will fall away, or should you just become stronger now to deal with more?
No, I definitely do think that the skeptics have fallen away, especially with the phase 2 of what we've started. A lot of people actually approach me and they're like, yeah, you know, I was very hesitant before, but now that I can see where you're going with this, like I'm in fully support. So I think...
So I guess it was just communication and educating them as to what you're trying to achieve.
Yes, and then initially, obviously, everyone's going to start thinking, oh, it's such a bad thing because you're doing this with the beggars, and then the beggars don't have a lot of respect for them, so it's hard to gauge that. But I think we've created a pretty decent awareness for what we're doing and support.
Melissa, you've just mentioned now stage 2, which means that you've completed stage 1. So what have you achieved thus far, and maybe just give us a bit of an indication on what stage 2, what are the changes there?
Okay, so stage 1 was about a month. It was for the whole of February from the 1st. And that was the red t-shirts where we created awareness. Now we've moved on to stage 2, and that the main change you're going to see is the t-shirt change. So it's now a green t-shirt that they're wearing, because now they're going to be gardeners. They're going to be making Durban greener and safer. So that's what our hope is.
Exciting. We'll take a quick ad break, and after the ad break we'll chat more to Melissa Samuels about stage 2. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome back to Modern and Modest. With us today we have Melissa Samuels from the Samuel Caesar Foundation. So Melissa, we're very excited that we've now accomplished stage 1 and you're heading on to stage 2 like you've mentioned. So can you run us through what stage 2 is going to entail? What is it all about?
So stage 2 finds the beggars in green t-shirts, and now they move from that space to gardeners. So I refer to them as Durban's G's, so Durban's gardeners. So they are going to be cleaning up the intersections, so picking up the litter. They're going to be sweeping the pavements where the pedestrians walk. They're also going to be gardening, obviously, when they get their garden, so make sure the garden's neat, watered every day, make sure it's looking beautiful, pruned, de-weeded, as well as keeping the intersections safe, so minimalizing the criminal elements, such as smash and grabs, because what we found is that these guys are pretty territorial, so they will know that this is my space, I'm going to protect this space. So we've told them, if someone comes into your space, you need to make sure that they're either a good guy, or if they're not, you need to make sure they're gone, so that it keeps motorists and our public safe. Yeah.
You mentioned gardening.
Yes.
Would you need to put out some skills training there, or is it actually quite simple to garden?
It's not as simple, actually. I'm not the best gardener myself. No, we are going to get assessment and expertise for them, so they would have a little bit of training. And then it also upskills them in terms of when they find a job, because our end goal with our foundation is to get them employed again.
Okay. Yeah. And how can the public get more involved with your stage 2 initiative?
So donations would be amazing, because obviously we want to keep this as sustainable as possible. So you can donate at the SamuelCaesarFoundation.org. Alternatively, if you want to donate any kind of flowers that grow in direct sunlight, you're more than welcome. And any kind of offering that you have. Someone called me and they were an eye doctor. They said, I want to test all the beggars' eyes to see if they can get glasses. So any kind of support and help would be really appreciated.
All right. Any success stories thus far? I know it's just been about 6 weeks, but I'm sure you would have come across a few.
Yes. So in terms of keeping Durban safe, I have 3 stories to tell. There's a guy up in Pinetown, his name is Tembiso. The Pinetown people refer to him as Ben. There was a lady that was walking on the streets, and she was mugged by 2 guys, and then he saw this happening and he ran to her, and as he ran to her and started chasing them away, the one guy ran, but he grabbed the other guy and he held him until the lady could call the cops. So that was pretty awesome. He actually got injured in the process. So that was one of the amazing success stories. The other one was here on Avondale Road, here in Durban. Vernon helped someone out of a car accident. So they had a smash right there at his intersection, and then helped the lady out of the car, which was cool. And then also in Westwood Mall, so Westville there by that KFC, Ntombiso helped he saw someone coming to the intersection and he knew he was going to smash and grab, and just before he did it, he hit him down, so he ran away, which was awesome. So it is effective, and what we're doing is helping mentally. It's changing their being and giving them some self-worth, and I think it's doing a whole lot of good for Durban City.
I think what you've created is just giving back that dignity and self-worth, which allows them confidence in going out now and aiding people and assisting. Whereas in the past, if you look at a beggar on the road, they probably feel like people look at them as though they need to stay away from them, or they're afraid to, or maybe they're afraid to go and assist because they know how people see them, you know, in a negative way. So I guess all that skills that you're offering them and the motivation has empowered them into more confident individuals. So over and above the success stories that we've just heard, and I'm sure you're going to have many more coming your way, will this initiative reach out to other cities? I mean, you've had people all the way from New Zealand on social media. What about local?
I would love to take this to as many cities as possible. I'm originally from Pietermaritzburg, so the next city that I'd love to do this in would definitely be Pietermaritzburg, take it back home. But I understand that homelessness is a situation and a problem everywhere, so I'd like to take it to as many cities as I possibly can in South Africa.
What about the age groups of these beggars? What do you find is the very common age group where people are out on the street?
It's actually a lot older than you think. So it's in from about 35 to 50. I've got a couple guys that are well over 50, close to their 60s. And then I have 2 boys that are less than 16. So it's quite a vast range.
Melissa, we chatted about skills development with your gardeners, and this has to come at a cost because we spoke about experts coming through. So how is all this funded? How is this project funded?
So initially it was funded by Samuel Service Centre, and in order to make it a little bit more sustainable, we started the Caesar Foundation. We would like majority of our funding to come from the public because it's a public space that we beautify. We're beautifying Durban. So we'd love the citizens of Durban and anyone else who loves Durban as much as we do to fund what we're doing. We are getting a lot of corporate sponsorships. They're willing to help and put forward their social responsibility into our Caesar Foundation. We would like the municipality and eThekwini to also get on board as well.
Okay, great. And what are your objectives for the Samuel Caesar Foundation?
So our objectives is to employ 400 beggars. We'd like to restore their dignity and discourage begging at intersections. We assist with social workers to help with rehabilitation for these guys. We want Durban to be cleaner, so we're employing the guys to clean. We'd like to attract tourism and encourage economic activity in our city, as well as minimize the criminal elements in our city, so things like smash and grabs. Yeah.
You mentioned now you want to get beggars to stop begging. Would you like to perhaps share that message with the public, because you're trying to get them away from begging, and I think it's really much of a habit. We've gotten so accustomed to handing out to beggars at a traffic light, or you know, what can we do to change what you're trying to achieve?
Please, if I can encourage anyone to just stop giving to the beggar, because what you're doing is you're encouraging him to stay on the streets. We're making it available and livable to be on the streets when it shouldn't be. It comes with a whole lot of social evils that we need to stop encouraging. So please, when you get to an intersection, just be like, I'm sorry, I support Samuel Caesar Foundation and they are helping people like you, so bring them to us as opposed to giving them money.
So Melissa, I like this whole idea of going green. It feels cleaner and it's such a pleasant color to even look at, you know, when you're outdoors and it's clean and green and fresh. But why green? Where did this come from?
So in terms of the Sustainability Development Goals for 2030, we're trying to affect climate change throughout the entire world. So we are contributing to that by going green with our Durban G's and our beggars and our flower gardens. So
there's a lot more to Samuel Caesar Foundation. You've thought as far ahead as 2030. Well, that is indeed amazing. So with the public, we know that you need the funding, and this project can only go further if you have the support from the public. We are keeping the streets cleaner. How can the public get involved? What do you think they could do over and above you know, funding? Is there anything else we can do to help getting this foundation to grow?
Definitely would just try and help us stop encouraging begging at our intersections, for sure. Also, one of the things I wanted to mention is that ordinarily we give about 5 Rand a week to beggars, which calculates about 240 Rand a year to beggars. So we're asking you to give us half of what you ordinarily do give to a beggar. And when you give to a beggar, you feel guilty because you gave him, because you know it's encouraging bad behavior. And you also feel guilty when you don't, because you had an opportunity and you didn't. So definitely just to stop supporting begging at the intersections. And obviously flowers, we definitely need as many flowers as we can. We want to fill the whole of Durban with beautiful flower gardens.
Have you ever thought of any soup kitchens for your members on your platform? Do you provide that for them?
So we give them a meal every day. We give them 2 sandwiches and a cool drink. However, moving forwards, we are encouraging them to stop the feeding, because essentially we want them to get to a space where they're independent and employed. And unfortunately, I take lunch to work, same as you take lunch to work and everyone else. But we do understand that it's a process, so we have to wean them off. So what we're doing is we're going to say, okay, after this month, we're going to stop feeding you. A loaf of bread is only 10 Rand. You can make yourself a sandwich. And then we'd also like to stop paying them every day. So we'd like to get them to a space where they can learn to save their money and financially get independent. So every 3 days to every week to every month.
So Melissa, how can the public reach out to you? Would you like to share your details so that we could get more people involved on this initiative?
What you can do is you can go to samuelcaesarfoundation.org. There's a facility there for social assistance as well as corporate support. Our email address is caesar@samuels.co.za. You can get hold of us on social media with Samuel Caesar Foundation on Facebook as well as Instagram. And I just lastly wanted to encourage people and the community at large to not take pictures of our guys in their t-shirts, because that was phase 1 and that's now complete, but to rather take pictures of their intersection and their gardens. What we want to do is at the end of each month we're going to get like Spa, for example, there's someone that have confirmed that they want to do a trolley dash for the gardener of the month. So that would be amazing. So we really want the support for the gardener as opposed to, for the garden as opposed to the gardener. Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you for taking the time to chat to us and educating us more about the Samuel Caesar Foundation. And I don't doubt at all that the public is going to come and support you, and you are going to grow bigger, where you're not going to be able to sit here and be talking to me about stage 2. You're probably going to be sitting in one of the other provinces because you're going to grow. I can definitely see that growth coming from you. That was Melissa Samuels from the Samuel Caesar Foundation. Greener, cleaner, and please do support her. Her Instagram handle would be posted on our show. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome back to the second segment of Modern and Modest. Today we chat to a woman that's known for her daily dose of laughter. But let us find out more about this Durban lass. Is there more to Sadiqa Sufi? Well, in conversation today, welcome Sadiqa Sufi to Modern and Modest, and we would love to know more about Sadiqa. Is there anything else that you could share with us apart from getting us to have a laugh every now and again?
Thank you so much, firstly, for having me. It's such a pleasure being here. Well, the thing is, I think that people always perceive me as being very liberal and very modern. I think that's the impression they get of me. But the thing is, I feel that I'm very traditional in my thinking and conservative in my way of life. I don't know, I think you can call me old-fashioned maybe, but yeah, I think that's why we shouldn't judge a book by its cover.
Okay, just going back to what you just mentioned now, when you say traditional and old-fashioned, would you like to elaborate on that?
The thing is, I feel today people are really modern, and when you look at the outlook that certain people have in life, I try and stick to the more conservative style of life. Like, I like to be on time for my salah, even if it's going out, wherever we go out, I always have my musalla and my burqa in my car. So if you look at me, you would think I'm very modern. But when it comes to my values and my practices, I'm very, very on point.
Well, alhamdulillah, it's actually so real in the times that we live in today.
Exactly.
That we shouldn't be judging people on the outward, because I think if your heart is clean and pure,
Exactly. No, definitely.
it's not for us to judge.
Definitely.
So, Siddiqa, something I've just learned recently about you, and I was really intrigued, and I think we need to share it with our viewers as well. You have, is it an archery? Have you got a qualification, or is it a
yes.
hobby? Tell us more about archery.
Okay, so I'm a fitness freak, right? So I like trying out new fitness activities and things like that there. So I decided, let me give archery a try. I thought I would be horrible at it, but you start off with a lot of bruises on your arm if you don't get the technique right. And to my surprise, yeah, I started really enjoying it, got my certification, and also it's sunnah. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam has prescribed that we teach our children this archery. So I was like, yay, double bonus, let's go for it.
And how long did it take you?
It took like about 2 weeks, but it really helps me to de-stress, you know, and it's so rewarding when you hit that target. Yeah, I really do enjoy it.
Okay, Siddiqa, so from archery to fashion, from my understanding and from what we can see here today, fashion has always been a passion for you. And we know that you own the brand, or is it a business, African Diva. Tell us more about this venture. How did you start out, and maybe the inception of African Diva?
Okay, well, you know, the thing is, I've always been into fashion. I love fashion, and I spend like a lot of my money on fashion anyway, and clothes and shoes. But the thing is, I studied to become a teacher, and I did teach, but it wasn't suitable for me. I didn't enjoy it that much. You need to have a lot of patience for teaching. But at the same time, when I had my kids, I needed to get my own independence, and I needed to be there for my kids. And I needed something that would allow me to put my mommy duties first before my work. So I thought to myself, you know what, let me try out this business venture. Let me open up a ladies' boutique. And I took a very big and bold step. I went with everything that I had. I put all my passion and my zest into it, and I said, Bismillah, let me start my business. It wasn't easy, but I started it.
So how long has African Diva been around for?
African Diva is now 9 years old. Yes, so it's been 9 years old. I started it when my baby was 9 months old, and he's been coming with me and taking him along to the store and things like that. So it's been a wonderful journey.
Okay, I'm coming back to the title of your, or the name pedestal of your store, African Diva. What type of fashion do you put together? Is it more in line with African colors and design? What does African Diva?
Okay, what does it?
Why the name?
Okay, so the thing is, we are proudly South African. I'm proudly South African, and the name just resonated deep within me. And I cater for the ANC ladies and your NFP ladies, the exclusive garments, and I felt like I could bring those garments in. I import them from overseas, and the title just fit in perfectly with my goods.
Now, we do understand that every business comes with a challenge, and being a woman in business and a mummy, and we're going to talk about you being an influencer as well.
Yes.
Have you ever thought of quitting? Has this business come with challenges? How do you balance all of this?
You know, I started my business, I gave it everything that I had. So I sold every single thing that I owned to start my business. And with any new venture, it's very difficult. There comes a lot of struggles. You got to find your feet. You got to find your way. It's not an easy road. It's not an easy path to find. But alhamdulillah, I persevered. I never gave up. And quitting has never been an option for me. So it hasn't been an easy road, but it's been rewarding. Alhamdulillah, it has progressed, and I work hard and I'm passionate about it.
Okay, so let's talk about you being an influencer. How did this start out for you?
You know, the other thing is, last week I was going through some of my boxes, right? And I didn't realize I had found a camera that my dad bought for my 12th birthday. I didn't bring this up in any of my other interviews because I totally forgot about it. And I found all these cassettes in there. And my brother and I, from the time we were little, we used to make our own funny videos and our own ads for Coca-Cola and Fanta and all of that. And when I went through all of this, I had such a good laugh. So I just remembered, like, oh my word, this is going on not from now, but from a very long time. But in terms of social media, I was in the kitchen with my helper, Princess. and she was saying something really funny, and I took out my phone and I was recording, and she wasn't even aware of it, and I posted it, and the response to it had been phenomenal. And then there had been more requests, more videos. So I said, okay, let me start recording the people around me and the funny quirks that they do and things like that. And I started posting, and then people started becoming more demanding. We want more every day. So yeah, that's how it progressed, and it spiraled from there.
So how long have you been an influencer on social media?
Oh, it's absolutely very new to me. So it was last year, I think end of September, that I started this venture, and it's been overwhelming actually. Really, the response has been phenomenal.
Well, Siddiqa, with being out on social media, it's just pretty new for you, starting out in September.
Yes.
But the messages that you put out on social media seem so relevant, and everyone can relate to it. So how do you use these positive messages? How do you use social media as a means of spreading the positive message that you want to actually put out?
You know, the thing is, my page is all about positive vibes. So when I post a video, I want you to take the experience of positive energy with you. Whether I'm tackling a serious issue or whether a stereotype in a humorous way, I want you to either learn from the experience, or I want you to relate to it in a positive way. You know, because I feel in life, we all need some kind of positive energy. We all need some humor, and I try to depict this via my videos and my humor, just to spread a little bit of joy out there. Sometimes I would get people that would message me. I have so many DMs that say, thank you so much, I'm going through such a difficult time in my life, or I just got divorced, or my dad just passed away, and my mom looks at your videos and it makes her laugh, and we get so happy to see her smiling. So in that way, that makes me feel so happy also, because I'm spreading this energy around. And also the comments, if you look at the comments, people share their experiences, and they share all of these funny things and their funny stories. So it's just like a whole lot of communication and all of that going on there, people spreading their experience. It's a lot of sharing that goes on as well, and tagging, and oh, I did this, or I was involved in this here, or this happened to me. So it's very relatable in that way.
So we know with social media and being an influencer, yes, I agree that it's positive energy that you have and positive messages. But how do people receive it? Because not everyone would receive it in a positive way. Have you had any of these, and is it a challenge for you?
Yes, no, definitely. The thing is, you see, certain topics that I address, I feel that the aim of my video is to start a conversation. It will strike a conversation, and sometimes it's a conversation that people are not ready to have. They feel very closed off about it. But the thing with my videos is, it's supposed to make you feel uncomfortable. It's supposed to irk you. It's supposed to make you feel, oh, okay, why are we doing this? Why are we like this? You can laugh about it, but it also makes you question the way we are and the way we do things. So if it makes you uncomfortable, you just got to reflect and ask yourself why also.
Well, I guess if you're so accustomed to behaving in a certain way, you don't realize it until it's highlighted.
It's highlighted, yes. So I choose humor to highlight our flaws. And sometimes people don't see it that way. But I'm just trying to get my message across in a humorous way.
So you being a person that's so full of positive energy, how do you deal with the negativity from social media?
You know, it's always been a challenge. It's not easy when you receive a negative comment or something hurtful. I have received comments that were unwelcomed and nasty. And the thing is, you also have to wear your thick skin, because you know that this comes with the territory. Being attacked and called names and things like that, it comes with the territory. But also at the end of the day, we're also human. You also have feelings. You're a mother, you're a daughter. You got to carry these feelings now back to your home. So there's so much more that goes on behind the scenes and behind this person on Instagram, you understand? So I just feel that sometimes people take it a bit too far, but I just try and block it off as best as I can.
I was just going to ask, does this ever demotivate you from continuing to do what you do?
You know, the hate comments are very few as opposed to the positivity that I receive and the love. So doesn't even
outweighs.
It outweighs, exactly.
Okay.
So it's insignificant to me. Although it does hurt, it stings a little bit, but it doesn't ever, I've never ever thought about quitting, no.
So Siddiqa, coming back to your videos, every video has a story to tell and gets people laughing for hours, I would think. How do you come up with this kind of content? Where do you get the ideas from?
You know, from the time I was little, I've been very observant of the people around me and the way they talk and the way they behave and their one-liners. We all have that around us. So what I do is I observe the people on both professional and my personal basis, in personal capacities, and I incorporate what they do and what they say, and I add my own zest to it. And also I play on every kind of stereotype and cliche out there. I depict it in a humorous way. So yeah, I basically see the humor in everything.
Do you get any requests from the public, perhaps requesting a certain type of message to be out on social media?
Very rarely, but yes, I do. And some of the requests are really outrageous. So then, yeah, but they do give their comments and like, oh my word, I was thinking about this. I was going to message you and say, do this video, and wow, you did it. Because it's so relatable topics, I guess.
We'll take a quick ad break, and when we get back, we'll chat a little more to Siddiqa Sufi. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome back to Modern and Modest. With me we have Siddiqa Sufi. So Siddiqa, we were chatting about you being an influencer on social media.
Yes.
For those out there, what tips could you share with them on just being an influencer on social media, perhaps growing a brand, or just to share a message?
So I feel that if you are a growing brand, you need social media to advertise your product. And I feel that Instagram and Facebook are the new platform for advertising. If you think about it, our smartphones have replaced our computers and our laptops, and it's taken over, because if you want to buy something or if you want to eat something, you turn to your Instagram page to look for recommendations. So I think that if you want to market your product, go with an influencer who shares the same views as you and has the same target market that you want to reach.
My next question to you, how does one become an influencer?
You know, I can't even answer that question because it happened all of a sudden with me. I just started off with my videos, and my following started growing rapidly, and companies had requested me, please advertise my product. And I was like, no, but that's not what I'm about. So I decided, let me use this opportunity also to my advantage and help others get their brands out there. So I just actually do a 2-second mention only of the product and a little bit of an introduction or a description of the product in the comment section. That's about it. But it's just that my following has grown and people have sent so many requests, but I haven't compromised on my comedy at all.
Right. Coming back to you being an influencer and so big on social media and being a mum, how have your kids received this? What was their support? How did they feel?
Oh my word. So for my kids it's also been very overwhelming, because this happened, it was like an overnight kind of a thing. So a funny thing that happened was, when I went to the first day of school this year, when I went to fetch my son from school, he was crying in the car, and I'm like, baby, what's wrong? Did you get like a cheeky teacher? And then he's, no mama, everyone wants to play with me, and they're like, I'm the boy from the videos. So it was very overwhelming for him, you know. And when my daughter just started high school this year, and I got so many DMs from the girls at the school saying, oh, we saw your daughter, we're taking care of her, don't worry. So in that way, it has been special for them as well.
So Siddiqa, we've learned recently that you're involved in the bread drive. What is the bread drive all about?
Well, Thursdays in the CBD has always been a day where all the Muslim store owners come together to help the less fortunate. So we've been doing this even before the social media had even started. But now I use social media to do it on an even larger scale. So I get my viewers, every week I get a sponsor to donate bread or to EFT an amount into my account. So we buy a whole lot of bread, because the thing is, in town you come across so many poor people. People are, on a daily basis, you see people digging in the bins, eating off the street, and you realize how lucky we are, you know, for the small simple things that we have, and we don't make shukr for it. And this is when I decided, no, we got to use my platform to also do something good and to give back to the community. So I said no, I put it out there, and the response to help has been phenomenal, and 99% of the sponsors are all women that come forward to help. And the people, the less fortunate that receive this bread, you would think it's like Eid day for them. They get so excited, they get so happy with this loaf of bread. It can even reduce you to tears to think to yourself that, you know what, we have so much and we don't appreciate it. And just to see someone over a loaf of bread getting so excited and so happy, and I really, they make so much of dua for the sponsors, you know, I just think it's so rewarding at the end of the day.
So how long have you started this initiative for?
The bread drive, ever since I I think it was in January. I decided January this year. We started with our bread drive, and it's just growing from strength to strength to strength. I actually have a long list of people on hold to sponsor the bread because the response has been phenomenal.
So do you go out yourself and distribute the bread?
It's from my store, so we take out some time, the staff and I, and they all come to the store. It gets very chaotic, but alhamdulillah, we managed to do it from the CBD from my store.
Okay, and do you plan on taking the bread drive further? Have you thought of perhaps doing it on a daily basis or adding on to the bread drive?
Inshallah, that would come with time. At the moment, this is what we can cope with. When we grow in strength, then we will, inshallah. We hope to take it further.
Okay, so Siddiqa, your bread drive has been very touching, and alhamdulillah, there's been a lot of good that's come out from you being
Definitely.
a social media influencer, you know, with the support that you've been receiving. So apart from being the jovial character that we know you as being, what keeps you motivated? What keeps you going from strength to strength? Is there a secret that you'd like to share with our viewers?
You know, the only answer for that is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I feel that He is always with me. Whatever trial, whatever tribulation comes my way, I know that there's a reason for it, and Allah knows best. I've mentioned this in another interview that my favorite ayah of the Quran that has kept me so strong throughout the most difficult times of my life is Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Inna ma'iya Rabbi sayahdeen, which means surely my Lord is with me, He will guide me through. I have so much of faith in that ayah, and I feel like in every difficult time of my life, I have put my focus and my belief into that ayah, and it has brought me out through the most difficult times of my life.
Alhamdulillah.
And also I have a very strong support structure in terms of my family. They support me 100%. So initially when I had started my my social media page, people were sending my videos to my mom and my dad, and they were like, hey, what is she gone crazy? Tell her to stop doing all of this. And my dad supported me 100%, and he said, you know what, let her do it. She's passionate about this. She's making people laugh. Let her continue doing this. So they supported me, and my dad is even so jolly that he would join me in the videos as well, and people adore him. And also I have very good friends who are very supportive of me, and yes, my followers, they keep me so motivated. They're always there backing me up and showing me love, and their daily comments, it really keeps me motivated to keep going.
Well, it's wonderful that you've gone back to the strength that, you know, the fact that Allah has been your guide and your help and your assistance, and you get your strength and inspiration from there.
Yes.
Just a request from myself, I'd love for you to share that on your social media page. I mean, the dua that you've just mentioned.
Yes.
And I think there's just so many women out there that need that kind of motivation and strength.
Definitely.
To just grow from there.
Definitely.
So Siddiqa, as women, we tend to put ourselves down and we doubt ourselves more often than not.
Yes.
But you are unapologetically just yourself. So what message can you share with our female viewers in order to keep them empowered and uplifted?
You know, the thing is, I feel before we want to empower other women, we first need to empower ourselves. Whatever goal you have, whatever venture, whatever route you want to take in life, go with your gut and do it. And also, when you see a woman looking beautiful, pay her a compliment. When you see someone succeeding in business, applaud them. I feel that Islam has given us giants, women as role models. If you look at Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha, in knowledge, Khadija radiallahu ta'ala anha in business acumen, and Fatima Zahra radiallahu ta'ala anha in patience and perseverance. These women have taught us so much. We have such great role models. Islam has never asked us to back down. So be who you are. And one of my main objectives is to give women a voice and to influence them. Come out there, do your thing. So for me, that's a great motivation factor.
Well, thank you, Siddiqa. That was beautifully said, very empowering indeed. And just a reminder to post that dua. We all need it, and we all want to be as strong as you are.
Inshallah.
Okay.
Ameen.
Well, that's a wrap up for this week's episode of Modern and Modest. Shukran for tuning in, and thank you for being so supportive, and we'd like to hear more from you. And until next time, Assalamu alaikum from myself, Noshina Ghani.